if you like, we'll get you a copy of this after the fact. So don't feel like you need to scramble and take all the notes. We'll put this video up online and make it available to you. Again, my name is Ryan Rockwood, and I'm joined here by Jonathan Harris. We're with Virtual Results, and we work every day with mostly the consulting clients, helping people with their SEO, getting traffic to their website, whether it's from SEO or pay-per-click or Craigslist or wherever, and then helping them to get that traffic to convert. So today our goal is to have a fun, brief, informative talk on SEO in general. And SEO, of course, stands for search engine optimization. Now, it's a really basic thing, making your website, work with search engines and be available. It's come to also mean promoting your website online and manipulating search engines into ranking your website higher. So whenever you say SEO, there's always kind of an inherent manipulation involved, and if you don't try to manipulate or increase your rankings, then you're not, you might have great SEO, but you might not be kind of doing SEO. So it's kind of used in a couple different ways, and there isn't like a exact definition, and so don't let that throw you. Okay, well, today we're going to be talking with a lot of people on, a lot of people on the call, and we're going to be talking specifically about how you can understand SEO in the basic sense, but also the steps that you can take ongoing to improve your SEO. Now, included with the Virtual Results websites are several tools that help you do that, and we're going to help you really try to, use those to the max. One of the most valuable and easy to use and easy to understand tools these days is called the Yoast SEO tool. Yoast or Jost is a Scandinavian, maybe Norwegian, Danish, Finland, something like that. He lives up there. He's a guy, and he writes a lot of great software for WordPress. He's a consultant, and a lot of his tools are really great, and so we use those whenever possible. But, it's kind of like with that great power comes great responsibility sort of thing. It can get kind of confusing because the more advanced the tools get, they have more options, and the more you can totally whack out your, site as much as you can help it if you don't know what you're doing, So it's kind of one of those things like when in doubt, don't touch anything, but with even the slightest bit of knowledge, you can really kind of use it as an SEO coach. So we're going to go through that momentarily. And I see people are typing in their websites, and I hope that's because they saw that I wanted to basically use some site as a test. So I'm just going to use one of these sites as a test for our call today. I see Live Love Philly there at the top. I think I'm gonna grab that one and use that one. Larry, if you don't want me to do that, let me know. Also, I wanted to say welcome here to Alex, to Shauna, to Conrad, to Amy, to Karen, to Scott, to Roy, Larry, Andrew, Terry, Sergio, Lori, Mary, Rick, and all the other people I can't mention. Thank you so much for joining us today. This should be really quick and a really fun class. Basically, why is SEO important? Well, for most of us, traffic from search engine is certainly at least 50 to 60% of the traffic to our websites today. So it's certainly nothing to scoff at. At the same time, you don't want to overestimate the importance either, okay? It costs money to get free traffic from Google, whether it's time that you're investing, your own time, your assistant's time, an SEO person's time. You have to buy articles, you have to buy content, or you have to write them. All that has a cost, and that shouldn't be overlooked. A lot of times it's thought of as free. So, nothing is truly free, and the thing that we have to determine is that a better use of our time and money than something like pay-per-click? And a lot of times you can't say that for sure. A lot of times it's something that you definitely want to do both. Okay, so we're not fighting a war here against pay-per-click or anything like that. Pay-per-click is when you just give money to Google and say, send me traffic. And the good thing about that is that You can count on it. You can do a whole bunch of good SEO, and you know, you can't force the search engines to do anything, right?
Ryan, can I ask a question?
Yeah.
Why is SEO important to real estate agents and real estate brokers? Why do they need to know more about SEO?
Well, I will say one thing, that the vast majority of the searches to anyone's website these days are not going to be coming, unfortunately, are not going to be coming anymore from like city name real estate or city name homes for sale. Probably 50% of the searches on anyone's site is going to be individual property listing pages that, you know, someone drives by 125 Maple Street, they punch it into the search engines, and they go for it, okay? And the vast majority of the searches on most real estate sites will never be searched more than once in a month. I don't think I said that as clearly as I could, but hopefully you understand. In other words, let's say you have 3,000 people visit your site this month from the search engines. Probably 1,500 of those people will come in off of a term that won't be searched more than once. They'll be the only people searching for that term, like 125 Maple Street. So what that means is that it's way too broad for you to do SEO on every single one of those properties. It's way too broad for you know, pay-per-click. You could never do pay-per-click for all those properties. However, you know, if you have a website like a virtual results real estate website that indexes properties, individual properties, you have a great chance of being found for each of those. And all that means is, you know, more and more traffic. So specifically for real estate agents, you know, we're regionally based. In other words, it's almost always an address or a city, a township, a county, a geography, something like that. That's where search engine optimization and getting that traffic becomes really important.
Okay, let me ask one more question. So let's say I just got my VR3 website, or I'm fairly new to having a real estate website. How do I know what words and phrases and things to go after in my SEO strategy?
Well, that is indeed a challenge. And what I would suggest is, let's just pull up our test site right here. This person has graciously allowed us to use their site as a test. And it looks, just by immediately visiting this site right now, I can tell immediately that Philadelphia real estate is most important to this person, because you see they've got it here in their title tag, Philadelphia, PA real estate. Now, that is something of a no-brainer for this person, right? Because it looks like they're located in Philadelphia, PA. Okay. Now, so for the most part, I think most people know. You know, they have their core communities. What I would encourage people to do is to start small, to have initial success, and then to grow. So, you know, maybe this, maybe Larry is, you know, quite an experienced broker with, maybe this domain is old, maybe he's got a lot of incoming links, he's confident, Philadelphia is just, you know, what he has. However, if that wasn't the case, if he didn't want to go for one of the most, you know, one of the world's most competitive phrases right out of the gate, I know that there are communities in Philadelphia. And we see here Northern Liberties, Queens Village, East, whatever that is, Bella Vista. And, you know, these are the ones that, you know, by far it's going to be, you know, more attainable quicker. So all I can encourage people to do is to start, you know, start as small as you think is going to matter. Of course, if you know, Bella Vista is a neighborhood of 25 people or a housing development of 25 people, you might be starting too small. So that's what the balance is all about. Without an SEO professional or without something like that, you just have to use your common sense. The good news is that a lot of times our MLSs break those communities up for us in very natural ways, so we're already thinking of them. What you have to be careful of is, you know, no one is, well, I shouldn't say no one, but very few people are going to be searching for MLS area, you know, 495, whereas realtors might very often be searching for MLS, you know, 495, or very often the MLS will have broken the community up into kind of logical, but not logical puzzle pieces, and the names may technically be very correct, but they may not be widely used in common usage. So you have to be careful of that, because, you know, you're not going to like educate the world to search in the way that you want them to. You have to get them to search in the way that they search. You have to meet them where they are. In other words, not the other way around.
Okay, well, it looks like Larry's in Philadelphia, so he would want Philadelphia real estate as one of his keywords, or would that not be a good idea?
I would say that would not be a good idea because, first of all, real estate is always more competitive than homes. And also, for most people, it's going to be less valuable in the long run because real estate also includes office buildings, commercial supplies, and what we really want, most people want, they want to sell someone a house that wants to live in the house. Even investors are, a huge problem for most typical realtors. Of course, if you've figured out a way to leverage and really serve investors, they can be fantastic sources of recurring income. But, for the average Joe realtor, much more comfortable selling someone a house that is going to live in the darn thing. That's, what I always focused on when I was in real estate. It's like, it's just a straight shot. So I would, right off the bat, I'd change this to Philadelphia homes for sale. And if I was really going to gun for this thing. Now, if I wasn't going to gun for it, I would immediately change this up to my most important community and start there and conquer that first. Okay? So a couple different things. Let us do a quick test. And I'm just going to take a sec to do this because it's going to illustrate kind of later on how some of this works.
What tool are you looking at now there?
Well, forgive me. I'm just kind of clicking around here for a sec. What I'm going to do is I'm just going to use a little SEO tool that we have, and I'm going to try to close all current projects. Okay. So I have an SEO tool that you don't have to worry about. I wouldn't recommend anyone worries about right now. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to put in the URL that we want to optimize. Okay, and I'm going to say I'm just going to run a few things on it, and I'm going to return to this. This is going to take a while to run, but it's going to look at all the different things, like it's going to look at the page rank, the links on the site, but most important, we're going to look at what his competitors are doing for the term that he wants. And that's going to shed some light later on onto why we do the things that we do. Okay, so let's return to our presentation here, and we'll say I think we've covered that. Now, there is some confusion about blog pages versus content pages versus listings. Let me just start by saying that every page on the internet is simply a bunch of text. Okay, now it may have arrived there in different ways, like we may have made a nice interface on our site so that real estate agents can very easily type in their listings or their blog posts or whatever. Bottom line is, by the time it reaches the internet, it's all text. So don't make it more than it is. There's nothing inherently different about a blog post than a page, a testimonial, or a listing. It's all a bunch of hoo-ya, really. It's just a bunch of text by the time it arrives there. I'll tell you the big difference is what's down below it. If you have a page on, if we're showing a listing and you ask people to leave a reply, it just seems kind of stupid, right? Unless you ask them something intelligent, like, what do you think of this home, or would you, unless you're doing some kind of survey. So the biggest difference between these pages are what else is on the page. Sometimes you'll have a page, you won't have a sidebar. You'll have a listing, you might not want a sidebar. If you have a listing, you might not want a reply. So a page is a page is a page. It doesn't matter if you're ranking your biography or your blog post or your market stats or whatever. However, it is important to not fight with yourself. In other words, if I'm writing every blog post on Northern Liberties, and the thinking here is that I'm going to rank every single blog post for Northern Liberties, I'm basically going to be fighting with myself in Google, because Google's going to be looking at my site. They're going to be saying, huh, I see this guy has a focus on Northern Liberties. And so they're going to say, I wonder if I should, here's 2 articles on Northern Liberties. And I'm not saying this is wrong. Just try to, bear with me and try to get the theory of what I'm saying. In other words, Google's not going to say, oh, this guy has 2 articles on Northern Liberties. He really loves Northern Liberties. Let's rank his site higher for Northern Liberties. No, they're not going to do that. Instead, they're going to say, this article seems really great on Northern Liberties, and this one seems really great on Northern Liberties. But I can't really decide which is better, so I'm just going to rank them both pretty poorly. Okay? What we need to always have is, this is where it's helpful to either, whether you have a lot of times people make it like a community. Let's see, and he does. He's got a community called Northern Liberties. So, in other words, this is what he's going to want to do. He's going to want to shoot for consciously having one page on his site being the kind of mothership of Northern Liberties, and everything he's got to say on Northern Liberties that's really quality, he's going to add to this page.
This community page.
Yes. But let's not get caught up in it. It could be a blog post. It could be whatever it is. In his mind, it's the mothership. So whenever he writes an article like this on Northern Liberties, that's all fine and dandy and great, and you want to do that. What you always have to do, though, is you always have to include a link to your mothership on all of these pages, because what that tells Google is, okay, he's got a bunch of articles on Northern Liberties, but he also sees that he also always links back to this one. So in other words, then Google's going to see it, and he's going to say, oh, this guy really writes a lot on Northern Liberties, and all of these articles on Northern Liberties seems to reference this one.
So we're linking back to the community page in all cases.
Yes, in which case, so in other words, what we're doing is we are supporting our main article. We're not kind of, in other words, it's kind of like, it's not a scattergun approach. It's very focused and always coming back to this. And this is where you always, and feel free to continue to add, to increase, to whatever to this page. That's the general thing that I would say needs, would help most people.
How big should that page be? What should be on there?
Sky's the limit. Sky's the limit. Anything that makes sense. Anything that doesn't, make a separate article about it and link to it. Okay? So now we've gotten over kind of some of the questions about content, listings, whatever. It's all text, right? Let's jump to the Yoast SEO Plugin overview. Well, what is Yoast? Who is Yoast, Juiced, however you want to pronounce it? It's just a smart guy that, writes a lot of good stuff in, the Netherlands or wherever he is, and we use his tools. No big mystery. Next year, if something else comes out good, we'll use that instead. Okay, I'm going to pause this for a minute while I log into this guy's site so you guys can't see that. And Jonathan, why don't you freestyle it?
Okay, well, again, this is the Intro to SEO call with virtual results, and you're listening to Ryan Rockwood and Jonathan Harris. Thank you for listening to our call. We're going to get into some information about the Yoast SEO plugin now. So if you have questions during our call, go ahead and type those in the console, and we'll spend a few minutes here at the end of the call answering as many questions as we have time for. Ryan, we ready?
Yes, I think so.
Okay.
For a sec now, I'm going to just come back to this other little SEO tool, and I'm going to say here for a second, let's take this Northern Liberties. I'm just going to, I like this idea of the Northern Liberties page, and so we'll do just a second more work on this page, and then we'll see what other people are doing in order to rank for this. And the good news is you actually don't need to know this. The SEO tool does it for you, but I just thought it would actually be nice to kind of show you, what it's trying to do. Okay, so we've got this page right here. Let us analyze this page for Northern Liberties homes for sale. That should be the focus word of this page. Okay, and now what it's going to do is this little tool is going to go out and it's going to look at the top 10 pages for the top 10 sites that are ranking for Northern Liberties homes for sale. And it's going to say, what is common about all of these things? And it's kind of like one of those chicken or the egg things. The commonalities may have nothing to do with what make it rank, but it's kind of a nice place to start. So we can at least get those commonalities kind of kicked off. Now, you don't have to remember that. Just try to get the theory. I know I'm going kind of fast. In other words, the Yoast SEO tool helps us with that. Okay, so let's just jump right in here. The Yoast SEO tool is divided into two kind of separate but distinct categories. Okay, one is the dashboard settings, and one is the module that helps you when you're actually writing things. The dashboard setting needs to be set once, and maybe modified or tweaked from time to time. However, this page and post section is the module that helps you in an ongoing way.
You adjust it on every page or post.
That's a good practice. Yeah.
Okay.
Okay. So let's go in, and first of all, we're in Larry's site here, and we're going to jump in, and we're going to go see this SEO thing. This is the Yoast tool. Okay. So let's just jump in right away.
Everybody's going to have that in their dashboard, right?
Yeah, they sure will.
Okay.
Okay. It doesn't matter what you have here. It doesn't matter what you have here. I would say to go ahead and skip all this if you're in other words, I'm going to see a lot of settings here, and I'm going to tell you to skip it. That just means if you don't have an immediate interest, don't go here seeking it. Do you know what I'm saying? Just go ahead and use the tool if you need it, but there's nothing that you need to set up. It's not going to help you in any way. I see that Larry already has this used meta keywords tag. I think that he has done this manually, and I think it's generally a good idea. Google doesn't use it, but Bing and Yahoo do, and it's just like the keyword string that you can add. You can add little keywords. You know, I don't really see any problem with that or any reason why you wouldn't do that. So go ahead and check that if you want. Author highlighting. This is really actually pretty important. Basically, this is what allows you to select Larry as the author that's going to be highlighted on the on the main page of the site. And right now, if I do a search for Larry Levine, I think I spelled this. I hope I spelled his name right. I see his site does not come up. What was it? I Love Philly, I think. Anyway, when you search for some people, you see a little photo here, and that's called Google's author markup, and that's what this is all about. Okay, so you want to make sure that this is you or whoever you decide is going to be at the head, like representing. You basically want a little picture in the search results.
So that ranks your post or your page higher if you have that set up, right?
No, actually, that's a common misconception. It will not rank your Lucy Keltz. It will not actually, rank your.
You just get the thumbnail.
Yeah, and the researchers say that if it doesn't matter. Let's say you aren't ranked #1, but you're down here. Your eyes are going to go there. It's going to make more clicks to your site, so you want to set that up, okay? But just setting that up on this page is not enough. You need to now go to your user, click on users. And you'll see I do a lot of control clicking because I don't like to, basically go back and forth and wait for everything to load. So I just control clicked it, opened in a new tab, and now I'm going to go find Larry. He is right here, I think. And again, I'm going to control click that. It's going to open up, and I'm, nearly 100% certain that he doesn't have the Google Plus set up right here. What he needs to do is he needs to go and get his Google Plus profile set up on Google Plus, and he has to get a humongously ugly URL. I'll show you an example. Let's go to Doug's. See this right here? This is what it should look like, okay? And in this section right here where you make your profile, you must have a picture of yourself that is indeed your face. In other words, you cannot have your logo or your building or whatever. It needs to be a clearly visible face of yourself, and you need to put that there. Okay, so in other words, take that URL. Come back here, save, paste it in here, and save. And the good thing about this plugin is it'll have it all set up for you right there. That's the most important thing that I would, if you take one thing from this class, get Google Plus set up, get the right author highlighted on your main page, and if you have a multi-user blog, set it up on, pick one person for the front and have everyone set up their own user with their own Google Plus. And on the post that they write, their own picture will appear in the search results too. Okay, so let's just stop there with the settings. And it's already 10 o'clock, so let's jump over to the...
Let's do some posts. Show them how it worked.
Yeah. And what did I call it before? Okay, let's jump over to the post page module. Okay, we're going to go over to Northern Liberties, and we are going to say Edit Community. And the same thing applies if you say edit blog post, edit listing, edit whatever. Okay, I'm going to shrink this down just for ease of use. And maybe, in fact, I can even move this up here like that. Okay, so let's look at what we have here. The Yoast plugin on this level helps us basically make this. Okay, and this is just a preview of what's going to show up in Google. It's not 100%. For example, see how it's got his subdomain here, virtual results? That's not actually a site. If you actually go to his site, it has nothing to do with that. That's just, basically how he logs in and how the folders are structured on virtual results has nothing to do with SEO or whatever. But obviously you have to disregard that. Okay, when you go to his site, it's just live, love, Philly. Okay, the next section it has right here, focus keywords. Next section, SEO title. And look at that, he's already filled this out. That's pretty decent.
That's the right kind of title there, isn't it?
It's pretty good. We'll show some ways to improve it. And then right here he's got meta description. Now, the meta description is this area right here. And what you want to do is just write something compelling. You can see that if he does nothing, it'll just grab something. And usually it's the first couple sentences. In many cases, that works just fine. So don't get caught up here in completing all these steps. There's nothing magical about it. It just helps you define stuff. Like, for example, sometimes you got to have a really lousy intro sentence for some reason. Like you have to say, special thanks to the Philadelphia Boys and Girls Club for their help in our fundraiser, whatever. It just needs to be there in the first sentence, but it's just going to be a stupid meta description. Does that make sense? So in that case, oh, Alex can't see what we're talking about. I got something from Alex here where he says he can't see what we're talking about. Can anyone else confirm that they should be seeing the edit page of Larry's community? Can anyone else see that? Can you just give me a little indication in the chat section? Okay, good. A couple other people see it. Alex, I think it might be your problem.
Try restarting GoToWebinar.
Restarting that, or sometimes if you lose it, you can click on the little flower down in the start menu, and you can get back to it. Okay, so in other words, and so we've got meta keywords. If you don't have meta keywords, don't worry too much about it. But this is what we're talking about. It's not used by Google. It's used by the other people, and we'll show you how to do it. Okay, so there's this. There's a couple other tabs here. Most people never get to here, and which is fine. And then there is this little SEO check right here. This basically is kind of like a red light, green light thing, telling you you're good to go. Now, I want to stress that if you've done the article right in the first place, like all this stuff, this might be red. It might be horrible. It might look horrible. But you might be absolutely good to go and have the best SEO on earth. This is a tool. Much like any tool, it can be totally misused or not used. It doesn't mean your SEO is bad.
It's not 100% accurate either.
Yeah. So, so let's go and say, how could we make this better? A lot of people have a lot of turmoil about how to pick a focus. Well, let's say, what is a focus keyword? The focus keyword, it helps you say, hey, I'm not going to rank for Northern Liberties. Well, let's just face it. And maybe I don't want to, because but I could probably rank. I would probably really like to rank for Northern Liberties homes for sale. Okay. Better yet, townhouses for sale. Better yet, condos for sale. Better yet, condos for elderly retired women. Whatever your market is, get as narrow as you can bear. You know what I mean? Because you're going to be speaking right to those people. So, Northern Liberties homes for elderly people with cats, even better. Yeah. Okay, so let's go ahead and pick one thing. The other thing is, hey, in all of life we can't have everything, but we might get something. So pick one term per article, and don't overcomplicate it. Okay, if you've done a lot of Northern Liberties homes for sale, make it homes for sale in Northern Liberties. Make it, Northern Liberties pads, whatever. You know what I mean? Pick one thing. And in this case, we're going to pick Northern Liberties homes for sale. And again, don't overthink this. But this is probably going to be what I would recommend a core term. This and homes for sale in Northern Liberties. Okay. So by altering it here, Jonathan, and hitting update, I actually don't need to write. And this is an example of where I don't need an SEO title anymore, because my title is just fine. Okay. And so what I'm going to do, but let's just say it wasn't. Let's just say I had to do something snappy, like, isn't Northern Liberties the cat's meow? Okay? Let's say I had to write something there. I don't want Google to rank me for the cat's meow. Instead, I can now, I can go down here and I can override that by clicking my by writing my SEO title. Let me show you what is the difference between an SEO title and a real title. Okay, and to show you that, I'm going to actually go to the Northern Liberties page. And why don't I do something here like, I'll just do something like this. Okay, I'll do funny words, and just so it's really clear, what is what. This is a situation where, let's just say I had to write something snappy for the title, but I don't want to rank for it. So see the title up here? It's up. Now I'm using Chrome. Depending on what browser you're in, you're going to see it or you're not even going to see it. Okay, don't get concerned about that. But Google will see it. Okay, so in other words, if everything's spot on, I really don't need to write a different title than an SEO title. But so don't overcomplicate it. If you've written a great title like this, I'm just going to take out my SEO title.
Why would you not want to have an SEO title?
Because it will duplicate the good title.
Automatically.
Yeah.
Automatically.
By default, it will duplicate my good one. So, just understand, this is where, a lot of people get all into it. They'll make it all creative and stuff like that. So now what it's done is it says Northern Liberties Homes for Sale, and it's added some of these things that Larry has in his SEO template, like his name, his site name, stuff like that. It's following with his slogan, and that's fine. Okay, so I've got that in the title. I've got this as my regular title. Okay, and but what Yoast, the tool here, can't know is what do I want to rank for? Larry has to tell them that because it's not brilliant, right? So it may be that Larry has a site where he sells, musical instruments in Northern Liberties, So you got to tell it, and this is where you tell it. You say focus keyword. Now, there's a lot of misconception about focus keyword because it kind of seems like it does something, but just putting this here doesn't do anything. Whether or not you have it or not, it doesn't do anything. It just enables the tool to work.
It's going to look for that in your post, right?
Well, this tool is going to look for it
right.
to help you understand if you need some help. Okay? So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to come up here and I'm going to either hit check or update, either one of them. This tool kind of needs a little bit of like a tire kick every now and then to kind of get it working or to get it to like update. So now you can see we've gone to yellow. It says poor. It says you've got lousy SEO. Okay, well that's interesting. Let's see if what it thinks. Now once that happens, it gives us a little list, and this is kind of like, consider this your buddy over your shoulder that knows a little bit about SEO that's just trying to help out. In some cases, he might be totally wrong, and you need to override him. Okay, but in a lot of cases, he's right. Jonathan tells me we're getting late, so I'm going to have to speed it up. But I hope this is helpful to you guys. And, we'll do more of these. But basically, what I'm going to do is I'm going to say, okay, buddy, over my shoulder, let's say you are right. Let's just give you the benefit of the doubt. I've got it in my article heading, yes. I've got it in my page title. And it's saying, where are your keywords that you want to rank for? Are they in, are they in your URL? No. Well, good point, buddy. Why don't I change that? Okay.
So you just changed the URL so it had the keyword you wanted to rank for in it.
I did.
Okay.
Okay, and again, I just kind of have to like hit edit, boom, 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 and kind of have to wait here until this thingamajigger updates. And look at that. I feel so accomplished. And that's actually a good thing to do. Now, look at this. It's saying you don't even have it in your content, dude. You're kind of like an SEO amateur. I said, well, you know what? I guess I kind of am. I haven't even written it in my content. How do I expect Google to, consider this an authority page? You know what I'm saying? So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to work it into my content. And for this example, I'm just going to put it right here.
How many times should it be in there?
Well, that's kind of up for debate. Write as naturally as you can. This is just kind of helping you at least get it in there once. You know what I mean? There are a lot of evidence that, having it as one of the first words and having it as the last word and all this kind of stuff can help. But more important these days, it has to be natural. So I'm going to really try to work it into a sentence naturally. And that means that if I make it home for sale, it's not going to register down here as being in the content, but it's going to be perfectly fine. So in that case, I'm going to say, you know what, I'm just going to override you on that one. But so I just put it here in the content for the sake of this example.
It takes a minute to update.
I'm going to hit update, and now I'm feeling even more accomplished. But I see here that it's not in my meta description. Why isn't it? Because I do actually see it right here, so I'm not really sure why it doesn't think it is. His template must have him take the focus keyword or the title and slap it in the meta, but I don't think it's able to. I think it's actually just saying it's not literally down here in your meta description. And so just to make it happy, I'm going to do it right here. I'm going to just do this. And then I'm going to come up here and I'm going to grab a little bit of text that I think is going to make people want to click on it, because that's all this does right here. This area right here, this doesn't improve rankings. But it's going to, if someone searched for it, it's going to be bolded, just like this. And it's going I want something here that looks compelling. Okay? So now I hit update once more.
So basically, this is the process. You go through your post, you look at the messages you're getting in the SEO, Yoast SEO console, and you're fixing the things it suggests.
Okay, so I've got all these, and this is pretty harsh that it's still saying that I'm poor. I kind of feel like I've done a pretty decent job here. After all, I've got all of these green, So this is where you kind of have to say, you know what, good enough. I've got all this. But let's give it the benefit of the doubt, and let's proceed to tab 2.
Page analysis.
Yeah. And let's say, okay, buddy, what else do I have to do here? And what I'll do here is I'll just start with the very easiest things, and I'll knock those out first in an effort to get this to green. Okay? Images on the page do not have alt tags containing your keyword. Well, that's pretty darn easy, right? No skin off my back. And look at this. I wonder if he did this or if we did it for him setting up. It's pretty decent. Oops. So I'm going to come here. I'm going to take my keyword tag, and I'm going to go and make it the alt text. Okay? And you know what? To make it look less spammy, why don't I just do this? Add the word, photo after it or something like that. I'm also going to do none here for the link. Just a little pet peeve. I don't like when people can click on my images and see like a big full page with no navigation. I think it looks bad. So I'm going to do that. Page title contains whatever. No outbound links appear on the page. No subheading tags like H2. That's another easy one I can do. Okay.
It looks like it's too short too. Only 141 words. So
it is too short.
How long should it be?
500 words at a minimum. So to do this, to make a heading, Google doesn't know kind of what is most important. So the way that we tell it what is important is by saying this is important. And so to do that, we highlight this, the text that we want to be important. It's important on the page that's already taken by this one. We always do heading 2 or below, heading 3, heading 4, anything's fine. So let's do an update. And I've just saved these 2 things. Let's see. Oh, we're okay. Yeah, that's quite an improvement, actually. Okay, and so always good to do an outbound link on this page to something, maybe the Wikipedia. That's easy, some kind of non-competing page. Outbound means off.
Welcome to GoToWebinar, Web Events Made Easy.
Hi guys, can you hear me now? I just switched to voice over IP. It looks like, okay, cool. It actually looks like GoToWebinar's telephone lines went down, which is like never happens, right? So good. Now I have kind of a crazy headset here. It's kind of on the fritz, so hopefully I will be able to finish out this webinar. But thanks for letting me know. Basically, what I just went over in the last couple minutes here, where we lost some audio, was these other features. In other words, in most people's posts, they're not going to be below 300 words. Most people's articles are not going to be this high reading score, which is going to make this a little better. In most cases, it's very easy to find an outbound link. What I typically do is I'll do something like, you know, Northern Liberty's homes for sale, and then I'll say, you know, Wikipedia or whatever, you know. And you slap this in there, and there you've got an authority link to a site that's, you know, of course, legitimate, and non-competing. Okay, so I'm going to do this. I'm going to update, and what we're doing here is we're seeking green, in which case, don't get too proud if it does get to green. It actually doesn't, you know, really mean anything, but it's just a really nice kind of coaching mechanism. And when you get going, you'll learn all these things. Like in a heartbeat, you'll learn all these things, and you won't even have to look at this. And this won't be green anymore because you'll never have, you know, ran all the little tests and stuff. Your SEO is still going to be just fine. Okay, so we've really done a lot of good here, and let's look at our page. Wow. Well, we really messed up our page somehow. Let's see. Update. Oh, I know what I did. I changed the URL, and then I started refreshing it. You know what I mean? I changed it. I was trying to refresh this old one. You know, we've got, this is kind of ugly. You know, if I was to leave this here, I would format this a little bit different. Now, because it's an H2, it's not going to get smaller, so I'm going to have to just move it somewhere or hit, you know, return, return, return. Here I've got the terms in my text. Down here I've got this outbound link to Wikipedia. And you know what? This may not have registered as an outbound link because I just pasted it in there. I may have to actually kind of like come back in here, and this is kind of weird when you have to do this, when you have to like hot link a link, but it's legitimate. Okay, and what we've gone from is a very poorly SEO'd page to an okay SEO page, which is extremely significant. Okay, so why don't we open it up to some questions? Oh, very good. Amy says, Amy caught that it was the permalink problem. Way to go, Amy. Okay, so let's open it up to some questions. And in the meantime, I'm just going to pop back to this little thing, and you know, we will just review this, you know, kind of as we go. Anyone have any questions? Go ahead and just type her on in. Yeah, if not, we can always just come up with some good questions that you would have. What we'll do here, how much would you charge to do this for us? Good question. What would it take for you to SEO check our websites? Well, you know, both of these are kind of interesting questions because it's like, you know, I just ran a little, let's take a look, for example. I took a look at this Northern Liberties page, and in this little tool. And this says, you know what, your page is about 21% optimized for that term. So, you know, in terms of charging and stuff, it's kind of like, what exactly do you want? How good, how much is enough or something like that? We'd have to try to figure that out. That's kind of hard. But basically what we do here, what this has gone through is it says, we should get this to run again. This says 21%. It says there's no keyword in your title. There's no keyword in your meta. There's no keyword in your meta description. Let's see if I get this to run again, because it would be interesting to see how much we can improve. Let me try to save this. This is definitely a program that does a lot, so it definitely crashes a lot. Let's get it. Let's see. Why can't it find the page? Oh, you're so right. It can't find it because we changed the darn URL. I thought it was just bugging out on me. Let's pull this up again. And let's say website. We need to add a new page. And we need to say, this is actually kind of fun. We need to say, here's the new URL. Okay, this is doing all this stuff. Broken links, CSS validation. Mostly just to show people the benefits of basically what we've done, and I guess it might actually not be very valuable because the Yoast SEO plugin, it's basically the Yoast SEO plugin just went, it's kind of like the Yoast SEO plugin went from black to yellow, and the same kind of thing. We can kind of see it here in in these pages too. Analyze page content. Yeah, so I'll put this aside. Let's answer some questions. How much would you charge to do this for us? Larry, it kind of depends on, how much you need. Rick, same kind of thing, kind of what you're doing. This is half the battle. On-page stuff is half the battle. The other stuff is getting links to the site. That's definitely the other part of it. So anyway, costs could probably range from, an SEO of, we could do some one-time on-page SEO for maybe, depending on the scope, maybe $1,000. Ongoing, probably, $1,500 a month ongoing or something like that. Okay, so I hope people have enjoyed this class. If you enjoyed this class or you want to see more classes like this, go ahead and hit yes. Don't worry, you won't hurt my feelings if you say no. I'm just trying to figure out, what the best kind of classes would be to do. This stuff, it's really kind of like you need it in small doses, and we've already run an hour, and I meant it to be a half an hour. So let's talk about some of the other things that I need you guys to do. And this is really, really, please don't skip this final step, okay? Now you starting to understand some of this stuff, don't stop. First thing, I need you to go to wiredforsuccesswebinars.com and sign up. Jim, who is, of course, the owner of Virtual Results and our president, he's giving an ongoing webinar series. Be sure to attend these. Every single month, it's on a new thing, whether it's Facebook or SEO or iPad or whatever. Please register for this. Go to this page, sign up right here, and you'll get registered. This is like free training that people pay thousands of dollars for, and it's an hour a month. And you can do it from the comfort of your office chair. So do that and send it out. Again, that's that's Wired for Success webinars. And let me put the link in because it's kind of spelled weird. Wired, the number 4, success. I'll put the link here in the main chat, everyone. You should see that. And then the next thing I absolutely need you to do, no questions asked, is visit support www.virtualresults.net. I can't even tell you how many people, get a website and they get excited. They never take the first 3 webinars. Now, where are they? They're somewhere here. Websites. Okay. So right here, and I'll post this link too. Even if you're here, you don't even have a virtual results website, you should still take these. Fundamentals 1, Fundamentals 2, Fundamentals 3. If you haven't taken these, and these are, 3 hours are offered every single day. If you haven't taken these webinars, you're missing out and you're selling yourself short. I mean, these are it's like getting a car and, I don't know, never checking the rearview mirror or something like that. It's really the basics of how to operate your website. Sit through it a couple times, to tell you the truth. They're free, they're offered every day. It doesn't even matter if you're a customer, you can still attend. Okay, and then the last thing I have for you guys is we have Google sent us a bunch of coupons. If you want to advertise on pay-per-click, which is kind of funny because it's exactly the opposite of what this whole webinar was about, you have to be, number 1, a new Google AdWords subscriber, so you have to set up a new account, and you have to spend $25. And for that $25, you get $100 free, so a total of $125 in pay-per-click ads. Probably for that, you can get 100 people to your website, something like that. So if you want us to set that up for you as on a one-time bonus, if you want to do that, if you want to spend the $25, that's all you ever have to do. If you want to continue to pay-per-click advertise with us, be my guest. We can talk about that. But if you want to talk to Jonathan about this stuff, give us a call, 888-997-3785, extension 713. That's 888-997-3785, extension 713. And follow our blog posts at virtualresults.net. And contact us at support@virtualresults.net. Thank you so much, everyone. Everyone that's on this call, will send you a link to the webinar, the recorded webinar. And I hope you got a lot out of it. And I hope to hear from you soon. All the best.